Hi, I'm Rachel McLeod, and today we're going to talk about, or I'm going to talk about, when the setup when you have positive childhood memories only, and you have a history of complex PTSD. You have a history of maybe high ACEs score, high adverse childhood experiences, but you still only have the positive memories. You don't have any negative memories. That's really what I'm talking about. And this is very much part of a little mini series I'm doing about different kind of memory setups. And I also did one earlier this week about when you have only negative memories of your childhood. And I did one the last week on when you have no memories of your childhood. So today we're talking about the setup of when you only have positive memories of your childhood. And so we're going to explore that. I'm going to show you what to do with that and what I'm hearing from that. So, and I'm Rachel McLeod, like I said, and I'm a mental health therapist, an emotional wellness coach, and a therapist mentor. And I specialize in doing helping people do the brain work for resolving symptoms of anxiety, depression, and traumatic stress. The brain has a really beautiful process for resolving this, and that process can get stuck and impaired. And with complex PTSD, that's been having a challenge processing and integrating and doing the processes got blocked early in childhood. And so I have tons of videos about why that's the case, how to get that unblocked. But today I'm really going to stay on this topic. We're going to stay in this positive memories only field, but definitely there's reasons for that. Be curious when you, and really my work is really to get the brain up and running, to get that process unblocked and get that backlog of trauma, distress, inner conflict resolved, so that because from that resolution your brain makes health and wellness and helps you reach your dreams, your goals, regardless of what kind of trauma you've got in the back. The pain neurons, your pain neurons are terrified of that stuff. That's why it's hard to process. But the top of your brain, your executive functioning, is like, let me have it. I wonder what's in there. And they just read the data. They're nerds, they're scientists, right? Up here. That's what I think they are. Anyway, they don't have a problem with this, and they use that stuff as stuff to create your health and wellness from. So they don't uh, they don't care about if it's painful or not. So, okay, so we're gonna stay here. We're gonna dive in. Okay, so this is a common presentation for people who are massively traumatized. Um, this is not a common one. It's an extreme, right? No, having no memories is pretty extreme. Having only negative memories is a different kind of extreme. But I talk about that's it's a pretty decent place in the healing journey. Having only positive memories when somebody has a lot of childhood trauma, that setup is a lot of wounding. And and it's interesting because this is the type of setup I had. It's interesting because you see happy people, you see people that are highly productive, you see people that are can conquer the world, are dynamic. You see people that are engaging. You don't see your stereotypical traumatized person. You don't see somebody who's shell shocked typically. Um, you see somebody who loves all their family members, and you see somebody who gets along with everybody and who solves problems and fixes things and will fix all the things and who is actively fixing all the things. And they're kind of like rays of sunshine. And this is also a coping strategy. This is also a setup that is because of the depth of wounding that they have. And one of the fabulous parts of this setup is as people heal, as we heal, we get to keep the good that are good coping strategies, but now they're for health and wellness. They're not, I have to be happy because if I don't, everything's going to fall and break and the world's going to fall apart. Right? That's not, it's not that anymore. It gets to be a fluid thing where we get to have a full range of emotions just like everybody else, and the world is not going to fall apart, and people will figure it out, and we get to come into calm and rest, and also the joy circuits that we've built through survival mode actually get to be part of our thrive. And so, and it's really, really important that we work with this with care, because the amount of massive trauma and what remains undeveloped internally and in the inner world uh, is massive. And so, so. So we really want to respect this. And this is a place that lots of people don't respect because they're like, why are you so happy? Your parent was like this. Why are you so happy? Our childhood is like this. If you have a sibling like this, it's tough because you're like, look at all these problems. And I'm like, oh, there's no problems. It's so great. It's so fabulous. Everybody's wonderful. And it really can cause a lot of family conflict. And understanding, it's hard to understand when you're hurting if you're one of the siblings and you're hurting so much and you see this other little rainy sunshine one, you want to just tear it down and like, it was awful, right? And what you don't understand is this is their survival state. This is how they are coping with the amount of awful in the world and in the childhood that you shared together. This is just their nervous system was like weaving, like, okay, we're not going to survive this. Oh, wait, if we do this, we can survive. Okay, if we give everybody a positive backstory and we only read that backstory and we don't read any of the actual honest ones, we'll make it. And then it's like, okay, that feels so much better. Okay, go. And the subconscious mind goes and builds that in every area. And this is really frustrating if this is one of your, if this is your partner or your spouse and they just won't deal with any problems, and you try to bring them problems and you can't resolve any conflict because they're just happy all the time. There's no problems, right? It's really frustrating to work with these people because they will not address problems. I am absolutely calling myself out on this, and, and compassion for my partner, my husband, um, and um, and and really the deal is that you really don't want to. When you encounter this setup within yourself, within a partner, within a coworker, within a sibling, um, let me tell you now, you don't have the skills for what's going on in that person's inner world. And they don't have the skills for what's going on in this world. Okay. Please hear me say that. Stay out of that. I know you want to tear it down. I know you want to rip down the denial and the distortions that is weaving this whole thing together so that you could just have a talk with them, a real talk. And they can't handle that. It will not be okay. Their survival system built this because their survival system believed and understood that they would not survive if they did not build this. Okay. So this is out of your pay grade. This is out of your skill set. You don't have it for this. This is leave this to the trained professionals. Um, and and comfort and soothe yourself and understand that what you're feeling and seeing is accurate, even if they don't believe you, even if they don't see your perspective, even if they won't listen. And this is the time to get professional help. Okay, whether and in my case I would never have gone to a professional, right? um, I could go to alternative therapy professionals. That was okay. I really needed a very, this is one of the reasons why I make my program available to people because um, while I wouldn't have seen a professional, I would have, and I did do my own work. And so, and I did my own work enough that I had a little bit more success and didn't feel quite as fragile. And then I was willing to let some people in to help. So this is complex. This is hard. I get these clients often because, you know, like attracts like. I'm really careful. The setup um, is really positive and shiny and functional on the outside. And these people can get lost in the system because, oh, well, you're so smart, you're so intelligent, you're so you understand it, right? They're great intellectualizers. They can understand the dynamics of it. Doesn't mean they can make any deep shifting and deep healing, but they can see the dynamics that are at play. Okay, so um, and with them, I really allow them to stay in there, and then we will build their skills to their inner world, and that's usually the help they need. They don't necessarily need to see the truth. They don't need to for me to tell them the truth. They don't need me to help them process their massive traumas. They really need to be able to meet their inner world and have success enough times because when they can do this outer stuff and start interacting with the inner world and learn they're not going to die, now they can do it. They didn't have enough support when they were children to see the whole truth, but now they're seeing that they can see the emotional stuff. Their emotional intelligence begins to organize on its own, and their brain starts making the connections and rewiring, and it starts to reshift the map. And all of a sudden they'll say, oh, um, my parent that was physically violent with me was actually really narcissistic. They'll start talking about this stuff. They always only call me and talk about them. Oh, I always thought they were so beautiful, but they really hurt me when they did this and that. Their brain will start doing it. I'm like this. I'm zipped. I'm not saying anything. I'm letting their brain. I'm what? I am not. I did not bring this conversation up as their therapist. I did not start this. I am not touching this. If they want to tell me when they come in, then they do. Oh, my childhood was wonderful. It was so blissful. I had the perfect childhood. I had the most amazing parents, and this is what they'll say. Oh, I love them. They're my best friend. We grew up together. I just have so much respect for them. They're amazing. That's what they'll say. And then it comes to find out they beat them, they trafficked them, they abandoned them, they parentified the child. Like it come to find out, and I maintain the story that their brain is telling them. I am not confronting them with this truth because this truth is going to rock their world, and I don't know if they're prepared for their world to be rocked. So I'm going to let all this dance out here in front of me. I'm not going there. You're going to have to go there first, and then I'm going to support you as you look at one minor aspect of the truth. Your brain is starting to make connections there, right? I am supporting. How does that feel? Where do you feel that in your body? Right? Let's use an intervention right now, right? I am seeing how much they can swim in the water before they go under. They start to go under. Home. We're jumping out of here. We're going to a safe place. Tell me about that soccer game you really enjoyed. Tell me about that. Where's that really safe place that you had? We're out because I'm not having my client drown in their inner world during our time together. No, and they will. They need a lot of support with this. Please hear me say that. Um, uh, these are your avoidance. These are your golden children, the golden child in the narcissistic setup. These are your parentified children. These are your kids that have been holding the adults now, but they were as children, they were holding the family together. And nobody was holding them together. They will fall apart. Okay. So don't disturb them. Don't disturb them. Let them heal at their own pace, at their own time. Okay. And whatever you can do to get them professionals help and to get them into a professional, even on a light little issue. Oh, looks like you're using a lot of marijuana. Why don't you go see a therapist about that? I'm hearing that you're using it more than you want to use it, or it seems like you're not very happy with how busy you are. Why don't you go see a therapist? Right? This is what we're doing here. We're not like, hey, look, I noticed this happened in your childhood, and you're not facing the truth, so maybe you need to go see a therapist. If you got to. I mean, there's a time and a place for that, but there's a lot of other gentle means with you which you can say, hey, I'm really concerned. And you might just say that I'm really concerned about you. We had a tough childhood. I had a tough childhood. Maybe you want to go see a therapist. So, and you want to make sure that you have not a trauma informed therapist. Please, you want a therapist that specializes in trauma work. Okay, there is a huge difference. It's one thing to be informed in trauma. You do not have the skills for this. If you are not trained and specializing in trauma work, please send this client to someone who is. Okay, so with this client, we do want to you work with the brain very differently, just like every other client. We're just taking a very easy, slow, gentle approach. We're not rocking the boat too hard, and yeah, that's what we're doing. If you are one of these people, I specialize in working with you. So you sign up, look at my website, see the opportunities. I'm happy to work with you through this. If you love somebody who has this setup, you probably have a matching disorder of some sort. Sorry, you're welcome. Not sorry. And it's how it works. And because we attract like attracts like, right? And so the best thing you can do for them, if they're the one you're worried about, is to heal yourself. Do your own healing work. And you also will need a trauma specialist, not a trauma informed provider. Okay. And when you're getting your healing work done, a lot of times it frees up this other one to start looking at problems. It's the best thing you can do for them, just to heal yourself. It's actually the best thing you can do for anybody at any time. So, and us avoidance, if we have somebody in our life who's struggling and anxious, we'll usually grab up an anxious person. That's a good sign that it's time for you to do your healing and trauma work. So, for either cases, I do have my program available, Inner World Transformation. It will give you a very good beginning skill set, and this also help you start resolving symptoms, so that you might get strong enough to be able to do some of this deep work. And some of this deep work, I will tell you, you want to do it with a professional. And I have done mine with a professional. And any of stuff that wants to come up that I have blocked, I'm going to do that with a professional. I mean, I'm going to do a lot of them myself, but there's a point when you want support, because these relational wounds are meant to be healed in relationship, right? And so, and a lot of times we can do that with our partners, but we want to do it with somebody who can do it with us. And sometimes our partners can't, sometimes we can't do it by ourselves, and that's when we get a professional. So I have healing opportunities for this. Look on my website. I've also included my free program where I teach these interventions that are so supportive to the brain. It is not this, you can absolutely grab those if you've got this set up and start trialing them and seeing how that feels. Don't go through your childhood, stay out of there. You don't have the skills for that. And But go ahead and use it for today. Use it for the tightness in your chest. Use it for the restlessness. Use it for the busyness. You know, use it with your affirmations. Use it with your intentions. Right. Start playing with this way of working with your brain, and pretty soon you'll see what your next steps are. So I invite you to enroll in that free program, or to take the full 8-week dive with me and let me teach you some really advanced skills, some increasingly advanced skills, and wonderful connecting with you all today. I'll talk to you later. Bye.